And I can say for a fact that you not only provided fatherly wisdom, but you kept pointing me towards the word of God. And I remember it was Ephesians that you pointed me to, and it was all about the identity, because I was struggling with my identity. Right. And I can say that was amazing for me. And I always talk about how leaders want to dip into the suffering of their people. And that was a moment where I could see your heart for me, and I could see your character, and you waded into that with me, and you were like, I'm not just going to leave you here. Right. I'm with you. And as a man, that is a rare occurrence nowadays, especially for a husband, because we are dealing with so many other things. We are carrying the weight, as you call it, for our spouses, for our children, finances. We're carrying the weight of the world. Right. And if you're a leader in an organization, you're carrying the weight of that too. So I can definitely say that was a very illuminating experience for me, because you were able to get my focus off of what was right in front of me. And you were like, look at the world, look at what God is doing in your life right now. This is a moment where you can either like fall into the traps, or you can say, hey, today is a blessing, and I'm going to conquer this day. Right. And then tomorrow is a blessing, and I'm going to conquer this. It's funny because I shared something with my brother-in-law on social media, and it was this guy asking these two people if someone gave them $1 million, if they would be, like happy, and if no one could ruin their day. And they'd be like, yeah, of course. And then he said, what if I offered you $10 million and you wouldn't be able to wake up tomorrow? Would you still take the money? And they were like, no, I wouldn't take the money. And he was like, so if you waking up is worth more than $10 million, why aren't you appreciative of the fact that you're waking up?
That's so good.
He did. And he was like, and if this day went bad, pray that you get another chance at it, another $10 million worth of a day to go do that. And I was like, that is such a simple and concise way to look at it. And it really reminded me of our conversations in that moment, where it's like, you have so much to live for. And it's not that I was like contemplating anything, but you have so much to live for. Just look at that the blessing that you have in front of you, and go after that, and see God in that, and things are going to work themselves out. And lo and behold, things work themselves out. So
they did, didn't they?
It's just crazy how we fixate on these things, and we forget that we're gonna have ebbs and flows in life. And if we let our emotions go with each of those highs and lows, then we're not going to be able to see the story that God is laying out for our lives. Right. And you helped me kind of see that. And that was pretty awesome.
I mean, I've walked through things where I've had to ask people, hey, I need guidance. And so I just try to pay it forward. And you just told the listeners, I mean, you guys are family to us. And I never want to see you in that kind of predicament. And man, you made a good point about identity. Boy, you could do a whole nother podcast just on identity.
Probably will, actually.
Boy, that can throw you off in a big time.
Absolutely. So now we're gonna bring it to you on a personal level.
Yeah.
Now, be careful, because Mom will get you. But what are some frustrating things that you've experienced in marriage?
Okay, and I can say this because we've done marriage classes here at church, and we've led marriage retreats here at church. So I've always asked her, hey, can I share this? And she absolutely said it's fine. So we were teaching a marriage class here, a small group, connect group.
Yeah.
And one of the studies we were doing it was called His Needs, Her Needs. And as we were going through this, I learned something. Let me back up. We'd been married for over 20 years at this point, and I always had this tremendous frustration because I would just call her at work and just to say, hey, honey, how you doing? Send her a text message. No response. No response. And I mean, I lived with this frustration for years. And I'd say, why did she, and, she did. So as we're going through this study, as we're preparing for this study, and we're communicating, we're talking, We just got in a conversation about that. And she said, honey, I know you love me and I know you're just calling to check and see how I'm doing. She said, but that doesn't mean anything to me. I appreciate it, but it doesn't resonate with me. I'm at work. I'm trying to focus. So that's what I'm doing. So through our conversation, I said, well, I'm just going to start. She said, that's fine. You don't have to call me. So I learned, and it eliminated this frustration I've been dealing with for years. Wow. And like I say, we've been married for over 20 years at this point. So I say all that was saying this. It's so vital that we have communication, that we have discussions with our spouses and understand what's important to them. So through this, learning that and learning what's important to her. She loves having the bed made. So if I'm the last one out of bed, I make the bed. Or if I'm out of bed before her and then she's doing something, I'll make the bed. She doesn't like going to bed at night with a sink full of dirty dishes. And sometimes she'll do them, but if I see them there, I'll do them. She doesn't like to be told, oh, you're awesome. But she does like to feel appreciated and things said to her like, boy, you handled that very well. Or I'm proud of you, how you're willing to take time and to lean into other ladies who are walking through difficult times. So I learned how to communicate with her on a deeper level, on a level where she's more than willing to be receiving of it. It actually means something to her. So out of that frustration, man, it actually took our relationship to a different level.
Oh, man. It sounds like you just offered a master's degree in marriage, and it only took you, 20 years?
Yeah, 20-some years to figure it out.
That's right. And you're offering it to the rest of us for free. But
it's those little things that we don't even think.
Yeah, that's solid.
My wife, a lot of ladies love flowers, and that's perfectly fine. Donna, she'd rather have balloons. She said flowers are, in her opinion, are a waste of time. You buy them, they're beautiful for 3 days, then they're dead. So, but if I give her like 3 or 4 balloons, man, it's money in the bank.
For Kendra, it's the same thing, but she likes Legos.
There you go.
She's a Lego girl. So, yeah, that's true. But it's learning that.
It is.
It's understanding
and
that.
Being intentional, taking the time to learn it. Don't be like I did, wait 20 years and try to figure it out. Be intentional about learning it at the beginning so you don't have to go through those frustrations.
That's good. And I can say I am nowhere near perfect at that. And that is something that I am learning. And I'm sure someone who's listening is probably thinking, yeah, that's me too. Because, we see it, we acknowledge it, but sometimes we get in our own way.